Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron here. Hope you're having a great day in Jesus. I just wanted to go over like what's in my reading list on my iPad, type things. And this is what I use to save. Articles that I want to refer to, I want to read later. So I've got them for like probably over a year, just articles that I save in my reading list. I just thought you might want to see what I'm looking at in the news. So the first is the new social media alternatives to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and other big tech platform. Got that from Daisy Luther on the Organic Prepper. It's just really neat to know that there's alternatives to Twitter and Facebook, which I'm not on any of this. Another one is from Natural News Service. Scientists stunned as first of its kind study reveals strong link between fluoridated water and ADHD. And I have found that Natural News, even though they'll have some weird stuff on there sometimes, but many times in their scientific studies, it's very well documented. So that's fascinating to me, that fluoridation in water, ADHD, have a causal thing. The next is from Zero Hedge. Protest firm crowds on demand sued in $23 million extortion plot. That's by Tyler Durden. So paid protest firm. And so a lot of these things are AstroTurf. A lot of people out there screaming and stuff. Another thing, Washington Post article, how an abduction by the mysterious Freemasons led to a third political party, the nation's first. And this is something I study a lot. It's the anti-Masonic party of the 1820s and 30s and 40s with the disappearance of Captain Morgan, and how there was actually an anti-Masonic party formed in those time periods. So that is fascinating to me. And I think I moved this too fast for Brother Mallory. That's my bad. But so that's Washington Post. Then on statistics, Bound for Life. So this is like abortion worldwide. This is worldwide abortion statistics. And this is just good. I'm a pro-lifer. I love everybody. I don't think people should blow up abortion clinics, shoot abortionists. We should love everybody. We should love people that are scarred through the process of abortion, and people that aren't scarred through the process of abortion. Abortion doctors, just that Gosnell movie they say is doing good. Like to see that. But stuff like this, so like 37 of women having abortions are white, 37 are black, 19% are Hispanic, 7% other races. Black non-Hispanic women have the highest abortion ratio. Black women's abortion ratio has reached 444 abortions per 1,000 live births, while non-Hispanic white women's abortion ratio is 124 per 1,000. And so an estimated 56.3 million abortions worldwide. So I just like to know those statistics. You may be pro-abortion listening to this, but statistics are statistics, and you should want to know them. LifeSite News, which was just banned from Twitter and just came back on. Facebook blocks Gosnell ads, labels films about serial killer abortionists political speech, even though I think the people making the movie weren't pro-lifers necessarily when they started making the movies. Scholars harassed by trans activists in UK just for studying, this is also just for studying gender dysphoria, which was in the Diagnostical Statistical Manual, through the 4th edition, that it was gender dysphoria. It was a statistic, it was a anomaly to be treated. Okay, here's a neat article. It's half of all children will be autistic by 2025 by MIT scientists. So, when I see something like that from a semi-credible source, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and I would disagree with them on lots of things, but from a semi-credible source, when you would say half of children being born. So what is causing this? Obviously, it's gone from 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 63 to now in just a few years, it's going to be 1 in 2. So there has to be a causal factor here. The Hill came out with an article, Trump administration considering narrowing legal definition of gender report. What's fascinating is so often you get deep sixed on social media for reporting like the Republican National Platform. You know, the Republican National Platform is to repeal Obergefell and things, to be pro-life. And it's like, that's hate speech. And so it's the social media companies eliminating a particular viewpoint, which is kind of crazy. Here's another one, Executive Order 10450 by Eisenhower. And so the reason I wanted to look at that is this was in 1953. Eisenhower signed an executive order saying that federal workers couldn't be homosexual. That was fascinating. Now, I'm sure that that's why they were called in the closet and all this. But that's, whether you're homosexual or not, that's just fascinating historical knowledge to know. So I'm hoping some YouTube SPLC censor doesn't censor this channel or this video based on facts and truth presented in a loving, kind way. Okay, here's one from WND, and it's evangelicals don't understand Christianity. 53% say everyone sins, but most people are good by nature. So this is, I'm just going through just a few things. I'll probably just do a quick thing after you look at this one. Just some other article titles and things that fascinate me. And I just save these. I look at them, use them for research, maybe use them in preaching, or if I ever write a book or do papers, articles in various Christian magazines, which I've done. You know, it's just there. Okay, so this one, Harvard study reveals religious upbringing better for kids' health, well-being. So Harvard study says a religious upbringing better for kids' health and well-being. So that's good to know. Here's one I'm going to erase. No, I'm going to keep that. Okay, statism divides, capitalism unites. That's another article. Another Washington Post article, Sears radical past, how mail order catalogs subverted Jim Crow laws. Then another one on how putting statistics on LGBT movement got LifeSite banned from Twitter. It's now been back on. Here's a Quora.com one, which is the best English translation of the Quran. And this was a fascinating article. So it went into every English translation of the Quran, basically. Here's another one on phys.org. PHYS, nearly half the world lives on less than $5.50 a day. So that's good. Here's another one, warning, civilization at risk, crisis by 2040. And that is on climate change. Here's another one on Health Impact News. The developer of GMO potatoes renounces his own work. Now, I eat GMO foods all the time, but I do want to know about it. I think education is a good thing. And warns against consuming GMO potatoes. Here's one from the National Sentinel. No, not all women should be believed. Study shows false assault reports higher than stated. So that's, I'm assuming that came out during the Kavanaugh stuff. Here's one, how the cultural Marxist of the Frankfurt School subverted American education. I'm highly interested in that. Antonio Gramsci, the long march through the institutions, the birth of cultural Marxism, how the Frankfurt School changed America. Very interested in that. Brain imaging shows autistic brains. What does this say? Contain high amounts of aluminum, so I'm very interested in that. Here's one. Oh, come on now. Stalin's gulags were fun. And this was by I think a New York Times writer that basically said or tweeted the fact that Stalin's last week, journalist and Bernie Sanders supporter Samira Khan posted following list on Twitter purporting to tell the truth about Stalin's gulags, which weren't so bad after all. Yes, they were. Online and alternative investments. 25 things we did as kids that are now illegal. AmericanThinker.com, conservative Christians unwelcome at the University of Oklahoma. That was good. Mysterious Light reported, that's the Daily Mail. Top Hollywood execs give overwhelmingly to Democrats. That's from the HollywoodReporter.com. And my iPad is acting up here. And cultural Marxism, real economics, climate bombshell, global warming scare is based on careless and amateur data, finds audit. So that's just a few of the very many things that I keep kind of in my study, my news feed. Switzerland votes overwhelmingly to jail citizens for homophobia and transphobia. New global warming study is terrible news for alarmists. That comes from The Blaze. Disturbing study finds that humans are getting progressively dumber. IQ points now dropping by 7 points with each new generation. Love you. The best news is the word. Stick there. God bless. I'll talk with you later in Jesus' name.